Alright, guys, let's do. Yes, we all do reaction videos. Let's do a case almost too gruesome to imagine.
Her parents had noticed that she was delayed in walking and talking, and later teachers noticed her delays in reading, writing, and mathematics. Over the years, she had been diagnosed by various doctors who all gave various answers to her issues. She had been diagnosed with autism, OCD, depression, and ADHD. Although some doctors believed she had schizophrenia, Jessica was
And she
badly
got a
bullied at
lot.
school. She struggled to make friends and she was frequently mocked and teased by
Really?
her peers. And she would often respond to the bullying with violence. In year 9 in school, Jessica was suspended for biting a boy and pulling his girlfriend's hair. The following year,
Damn.
she attacked a schoolgirl and was expelled. It's reported that Jessica had a particular dislike towards her female peers. In her home life, she would often have conflict with her family members. Following a fight with her parents, she was forced to live with her grandmother, with hopes that this may help to solve the issues. However, shortly after moving in, she attacked her auntie, so was made to go back and live with her parents again. Whilst living at home again, Jessica was
Like
constantly
she had
verbally aggressive with
health
her
issues.
parents. The stresses she brought on her family resulted in her parents breaking up and her father leaving home. Jessica's mother Rita did everything she could for Jessica and supported her despite her husband leaving. Despite the problems Jessica would cause, Rita assured her daughter that she would not be institutionalized. Starting in 2012, Jessica committed a series of assaults. On one occasion, she saw a woman holding her baby. Jessica walked over and pulled the woman's hair. Six other such instances were reported to the police, where Jessica would
Hey,
approach random people and pull their hair.
sorry
The
guys.
reasons were usually that the person was looking at her in a way that she didn't like. Jessica would also develop a very
She.
strange and disturbing hobby. She enjoyed calling random numbers to harass and threaten people on the other end. The kind of threats she would make was a sign of what was to come. One person who was a victim of these calls was a woman named Natalie Naylor. In 2015, Natalie received 20 phone calls from Jessica, and in these calls, she would threaten to kill Natalie's husband. Jessica would say, I will come over to your door with a knife in my hand and slit your throat myself. I will ram a knife right through your neck and cut off your whole head. She did this to numerous people. Another person was a man named Matthew. For over 12 months in 2018, Jessica would call Matthew's personal numbers and business numbers at least 100 times a day. In these calls, she would threaten to stab him and cut his head off. Rita was made aware of these very disturbing phone calls. However, despite her trying, she was unable to stop Jessica from placing the calls. Despite Rita doing everything she could for her
Man, it
daughter,
sounds like she's
Jessica
a
would be
violent.
constantly rude and aggressive towards her. She would often scream and swear at her, even in public. In June of 2018, Jessica's aggression began to escalate further. A psychiatrist noted that she had very low impulse control and would lash out and act without thinking of any consequences. She was diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder and was prescribed antidepressants and Valium. Although, by December, Jessica declared that she no longer wanted to take any medication. And now we arrive to July of 2019. At this point, Jessica and Rita
Hi.
lived together. Her older sister had moved out and married, and of course, her father had left home a number of years prior. And Jessica was seeing a therapist for her anger and depression. However, there was little improvement. On the 19th of July, Jessica made a number of phone calls to a random man. She made her usual threats of decapitation and told him that she hopes he gets cancer and dies. Rita learned of this and sought help from the police in an attempt to get Jessica to stop this behavior. That same
Yeah,
day, Rita
if
took
that was
Jessica to
me.
the station and an officer gave Jessica a caution, instructing her to never call people and make threats ever again. Rita and Jessica then left the station and made their way home together. The following day, on the 20th of July, a young relative of Rita and Jessica's came over to stay with them. This relative was only 4 years of age, so they are unnamed. Because they were only 4 years old, Rita needed to provide more supervision, care, and attention to the child. But
Yeah,
this
if I
angered
was.
Jessica. She was bitterly jealous of the attention the child was receiving. In the evening, Rita ordered a takeaway for Jessica and the young relative who was staying with them for the night. Soon after, Jessica told her mother that she was experiencing a severe stomachache and needed a doctor. The doctor arrived at around 9:30. Rita let her inside so she could inspect Jessica's symptoms. However, Jessica was on the phone to a fast food restaurant, trying to order a second serving. The doctor would later say that Rita tried to get Jessica to hang up on the phone, but Jessica refused and instead continued to speak on the phone. She began to ask the attendant on the line to tell her that he loved her. The doctor waited for some time, but after around half an hour, it became clear that Jessica would not get off the phone. So the doctor left. She was also sure that Jessica had faked these symptoms. After the doctor left, Rita made a call to her eldest daughter, who was named Christy. Rita told Christy that she was worried for Jessica and believed that now was the time to have her institutionalized.
It sounded
However,
like to
this is
me
something that
she had
Jessica really
bipolar.
didn't want. Rita walked over to grab her mobile phone
Because
and
I
began to
used to
call
have a
emergency
neighbor.
services
Well,
to have
it's not my
Jessica be
friend
taken
anymore.
to a psychiatric
She
hospital.
had
But
bipolar
before she
disorder.
could, Jessica approached her and grabbed the phone. The two engaged in a brief struggle before Rita then made her way to another room to grab a different phone. But Jessica had followed her into the room. Jessica knocked her mother to the ground, grabbed her by the hair, and dragged her into the kitchen. She then opened a drawer, pulled out a knife, and sat on top of her mother to restrain her. Jessica then proceeded to stab Rita in the face, head, and neck multiple times. The child relative who was staying over heard all of the commotion. He went to see what was happening, only to witness the horrific sight. This young 4-year-old boy bravely took action. He jumped on Jessica and tried to get her to stop attacking Rita, and took the lid of a toy box and struck her over the head. Of course, this brave young lad was far too young to do anything to stop Jessica from
That's a
attacking
good.
Rita, but the fact that he tried to do
That's a
something
good boy
at that
doing it.
age is incredible. Jessica pushed the child away and slashed his face from his ear to his cheek. The child retreated, and due to the horrific scenes he had witnessed, he
If
began
I
to
was
vomit
me,
a number of times. It's also
take your
likely that
child
Rita
to
was
the
still alive when the young boy
asylum.
had
They
tried
will
to
deal with her.
Jessica had
Take
used such
her
force
like
in stabbing her mother that she broke 4
a sane
knives.
ward.
Each time one
They will have
broke,
to
she
deal with
would
her.
grab another. In total, Jessica stabbed her mother in the face and head over 100 times and had used a serrated knife to decapitate her. To fully sever Rita's head, Jessica began to twist and pull until it became fully detached. By the time she was done, Jessica was covered from head to toe in her mother's blood. She picked up her mother's head and walked to the next door neighbor's home, but she dropped her mother's head on the pavement on the way. Jessica knocked on the neighbor's door and asked them if they could call the emergency services for her. She then turned around and returned home and called the emergency services herself. Here is the call.
Hello, this is Alison from Police Emergency. We just received a call from this number. Yes, I need you to get the ambulance and the police out here immediately. To which address? I need you. This is I need it. I like what just situation. Which suburb or town is that in? St. Clair. St. Clair. Okay, so it's Clair. What's the nearest crossroad, please? What's the nearest one? Listen, can you talk to the neighbour? I'm busted. Can you just talk to him? Because on my hands bleeding. Thank you. Can you talk to the child? Oh, my thing is broken.
Hello?
What happened?
I don't know. We was just home, but she just coming screaming for help. And when suddenly I opened the door, she said that to send me in call of little ambulance. And she said to me, she had a fight with her mom, I think.
Okay. My mom tried to stab me and I was talking. So did she just say her mum tried to stab her?
I don't know because not the...
Yeah. I don't know. And in self-defense, I think I killed her. Yeah. Can you tell him to come immediately?
Yeah, can you please just come immediately, please?
Okay, so she believes that she may have killed her mother.